Oh, finally got the right account. Let's see. Nope. Hi. We're going to be talking about a lot of things today. And um, finally got the right account. Let's see. Nope. Hi. We're going to be talking about a lot of things today. And finally got the right account. Let's see. Nope. The question is your nerves on repeat? Are you getting on your own nerves? Are people getting on your nerves? Are your thoughts getting on your nerves? What's going on? Why does everything feel like it's attacking me? Why does it feel like the energy is coming in? Why can't I make it stop? Oh, I think we have some good things today. So tell me about how people get on your nerves. Tell me, write it out. These are the things that you can't stop focusing on. Well, we do have a lot of healing tools that can help you. Oh, well, good Lord. That can help you. That is, to like things that get on your nerves that don't go your way. How do you respond? Do you have an autopilot that makes you respond? Okay. Do you have an autopilot that makes you respond? What do I mean by autopilot? I'd like to hear what you got to say because we can actually help you learn to get into your fixed state. We can actually help you um, calm the nerves, even if the environment is very chaotic. And then sometimes you just have to learn to know when it's too much and to be able to go in, not just breathe, but bring blood back up to your forebrain, to allow yourself to, like, there's a spot. See, there's a spot right there. It's governing 20. That energy needs to connect together. You are made of energy. The question is, are you aware that you are made of energy? I believe I'm live on YouTube. I am not sure. So if you're out there and happen to see that I'm on there, that would be a good heads up. So getting on your own nerves, what does that even mean? Are you on autopilot? Are you not home? What does that mean? And I got to show up and be present. What does that mean? Thank you. There's a lot. There is a lot. But usually when you're so stressed, nobody will be home. What do you think I mean by that? Nobody's home. What are you talking about? Nobody's home. Well, you ever heard of running on a program? Knee-jerk reaction and auto response. You have to learn to become your 5%. What does that mean? You've heard me say that. What's 5%? And that is that conscious. So here is your frontal lobe. It's your consciousness. It's your awake. But who's running it? The programs or your higher self? And a lot of people say, well, I'm being my authentic self. I'm like, okay, that's great. But they have knee-jerk reactions. They're run by their aspects. Everything gets on their nerves. No, you're not being present as your authentic self. You're being present as the one in charge, which is your false self, your nervous self, your worried self, your fearful self, and it is capped by what you've learned. And you can only keep repeating what you've learned, only what you know. And what does that mean? Okay, it constantly is, what does this mean? What is going on? Well, if you sit there every day and you're like, oh my God, different day, same crap, or something like this, and you can't help but everything in the environment gets on your nerves, and you focus and hyper focus everything that gets on your nerves. Okay. Now I'm coming from a different angle. We've talked about this before. We've talked about doing OMG. The OMG up here is the blood flow. And when you're stressed, 80% of that goes into your fight, flight, freeze part of you. And that's what you're responding to, is the program of a fight, flight, freeze. And when it becomes a fight, flight, freeze, what happens? You are not run by your higher self. You're run by what are you run by? Your program. Your program is who you were yesterday, who you were when you had the first experience at 3 years old, the next experience at 12. So are you ever the age that you are, especially if you're in denial? Oh my God, I can't tell anybody my age, because the program has told you that there's something wrong with that. Hold on, I got to get Facebook up and running. It just shut down on me again. Okay. So waking up and noticing, what do I mean by waking up? Who needs to wake up? Even if you're in your, that's wrong. Even if you're in your own story, if you're in your own story and your stories make up who you are, and you're used to telling your story, but now you're starting to understand that you have stories and you're believing your own BS. Hi, how are you? But you don't realize that your stories are old. They're from your yesteryears. They're from your past. And you're like, yeah, but isn't that what's supposed to happen? Not if you're going to have your higher self in charge. Not if you're going to have your higher self in charge. If you want today to go well and you want to manifest the future, who are you showing up as? Are you showing up as your program? Are you showing up as who you are? Who's that? Your stories, your programs, what people have told you? Are you showing up? Yeah, I think the spirits on the other side want you to subscribe. How about that? So, how are you showing up? For me, it's like, yes, I got all this stuff to do. Yes, but I don't need to show up as a program and worry. Oops, that's not right. Worry, fear, any of that. That's not even. But how am I supposed to show up? How am I supposed to show up? Well, that is an interesting picture that you get to see. I don't understand that. So you look. Now, who's looking? My higher self is looking, going, I got so many things to do. Oh my God. Breathe in. And you're like, but I don't want these people to tell me, but yet I need people to tell me. And you're like, okay. And there's strange things that are happening. Okay. Now I don't know if the mute. Okay, I don't want that microphone to be muted. It doesn't allow me to mirror the video, which is what we want. So things don't cooperate. Is your knee-jerk reaction is to get so upset it's ridiculous? Now, I'm not sure why, but I can't even see the camera. I'm not even in the camera. That is so weird because the camera is looking directly at me. And yet if I turn it sideways, you can, oh, I see where it's at. It did flip it. So sometimes you're not informed. Sometimes you're so upset and nervous that you can't see that you needed just a little bit more information. It's all taken care of. No. Okay, it's taken care of. That, can we read it? Can we understand it? Oh, here we go again. Okay. So you figured it out. You got to flip the camera. It's not obeying right. And that's okay. But how do you fix it? And then all of a sudden there's another problem. Do you spiral out? Do you panic? Do you want everybody else to take care of it? Do you fall on the floor and wait for somebody to come along and pick you up? What do you do? Yeah, it's not letting me. Sorry about the sign in the back, but it's not letting me. There. Now the feature appeared. So there is certain steps, there is certain delays, there's certain reactions, and that's what you get with people. And so you're out of sync, or are you in sync? What is going on? And platforms, the medias, they are doing and changing drastically, which is fine. But the problem is, because it's changing so dramatically, it is now you have to jump through a bunch of more hoops. You got to update. You got to do all these things. And then you're just getting tired and you sort of give up. But what if that's what you're supposed to do is keep learning, keep growing. Don't always greet it with frustration. Don't greet it with the autopilot. Don't greet it. How should you show up? And for me, it is thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. So I don't let the negativity or the nocebo effect to come in and start to clamor with my brain. And all the medias, from my understanding, are changing the CEO, how you're getting searched for. Do you have content? Do you have, what it takes? Do you have, and I get it. We are at the stage in this world where we're supposed to reevaluate ourselves and change our values. But eons and eons of epigenetics, all of this doesn't allow for, or does it? Change is meant to be. But if you're supposed to follow all the rules, the regulations, all of these things, nothing's changed. It is who's in charge of you. And the more that you understand that you are spirit first, it is not outside of you. It's not in a God over there. It's not that were birthed as a soul. And if you can realize that nobody else was born in here but you, and do you need to still be doing the wandering around in the desert for 40 years? You know that. Some of you know that metaphor, right? Well, you can stop this. You were born in you. You need to find out who and you are. But when you look out, how do you know what it is? So are you out of touch with, or do you not have enough information about? Thank you for sharing. When I started to look at perspectives, I'm thinking there's a right and a wrong, correct? That's what my 40 years of wandering in the desert was about. That's just one of the things. And I thought, wait a minute. Am I doing the right thing? Did I hurt someone's feelings? Did I inconvenience people? And these are the programs that you can hear. Your littles are saying these and asking these questions, but have you matured emotionally, which you need to, so it changes the mental. So you got EQ, mental Q, and then when you start to do that, then your body will respond, not the intelligence, but the physical quotient will begin to respond instead of holding energy in and causing pain and shutting down, and I can't have a voice. Well, do we really want to? Don't you remember being a kid going, oh, I want to be like them. I want to be that. I want to wear this. I'm going to do that. And then you mimic and you get older. And then all of a sudden you're told, stop copying me, stop doing this and that. And then you get all of these things that you don't know who you are. And all of the pain and suffering and all the stuff is what you need to heal. And you don't know who you are and what it is. All of these things. When you stop living outside yourself and you start to live inside, and then you start to notice how everything gets on your nerves. Knee-jerk reaction. You start to wake up to, why did I have that thought? What's my next thought? Your soul has a soul's urge, and you'll start asking soul questions. You don't like the outside anymore, but yet you love all the people that are in the environment, or you may not. Hi, Terrence. You have all of these things in your environment. But if you don't change the environment, you can never really truly wake up, because you're always bumping up to other people's expectations, other people's programs, how you learned as a little, that if this signature shows up, you're going to have to match and mirror what you learned as a kid. And you'll have to go in the position of, this is how I'm supposed to act when they are around. So you're out of touch with other perspectives. You're out of touch. Oh, I need that on. You're out of touch. You understand? What are you out of touch with? Who's out of touch? So who's running the show? Well, if you're in your head going, well, I am, and yet you're all angry, then it's a program. But if you still say an I am, and you're becoming aware that you're angry and it's a program, and you're like, well, why am I taking it personal? Then you're starting to catch the little fine line between you and your higher self. So I'm just going to cue Amy to come in here to help me unplug this, and so I can control the temperature. So anyway, you have to begin to not always dig your face in the phone or dig your face over here to hide, to avoid, because these are your fight, flight, freeze. These are your programs that are running your nerves. These are your autopilots. Unplug this for me. And these are what's in charge of you. These are what's in charge of you. Thank you. And if you're like, but I can't, I was told by the world that, well, what were you told? Do you still have to follow it? That you can't heal. You can't read yourself. You can exercise and eat right and do yoga, but you can't change what? The emotions? I used to believe that all the time until I learned that you can use the body to change the emotions. I learned that I don't have to be stuck in this program. So I was out of touch with the fact is that there is a way to help you heal yourself emotionally and then mentally. Okay, you got this? You have got to look at your programs that says limitation, restrictions. But yeah, but my nerves. Oh God, do I know. But if you are running and your body is stuck in this running mode that you got as a kid, you can go back to these roots and begin to change that so that you can tolerate. Well, you can learn to, maybe you can learn to tolerate, but you should go heal further so that you can attract in a healthier side of the people that you love. Instead of having to always see where you lost power when you were a kid. People show up to you the only way you know. So everywhere you were stuck, you had an issue, your stories, your pains, and your sufferings, you haven't resolved those. Your nervous system says, I'm happy, and then there was a disrupt. And you never got to get back to resolve out or finish out. But the memory is always going to be sitting there. And your soul is now saying, hey, wake up. You can resolve this. We need to evolve out of this. And when I began to hear, and I'm like, I don't like this anymore. I realized that was my my aspects, my shadows. But they believed that you couldn't do anything about it. You're stuck with it. It is, I can't. But that's not who you are. So as I start to open up my heart, and the more I did tribal basics, I didn't even know what they were called at the time, but I would put myself in the healing position. And again, you can go to my website to look at what tribal basics are. We're going to have it more elaborate at some point, but I put the energies right. So I teach about energy medicine. I teach about new ways of moving energy. And as I allow myself to know this even more, as I allow myself to know this more, I broaden my perspective. I begin to see. I've been only looking through one perspective, and that belief has been passed down. Not that they passed it down. I was born, I observed, I mimic, monkey see, monkey do. It's just how we are as babies. But it's time to grow out of that. When I saw this different perspective and I thought, why do I believe? And when I started to study what belief and systems were. It's where you place your attention. It's how your 41 thoughts focus on it. Are you in beta or high beta, which is stress? And when we're stressed, our sensory systems, our eyes, our ears, our nose, our taste, our kinesthetic, our energetics, are all going to be skewed and looking through the dominant, like the dominant eye, the dominant ear, the dominant way of being, so that you have to protect yourself. Because I'm an empath and I'm a sensitive, and I don't remember the other one, that energetically what that I am, but when I'm stressed, I will go and be extra, and it'll be excused and all skewed, and all the rest of them can't support to help because I'm in stress survival mode. But I don't need my nerves to be stressed in survival mode all the time. So as I learned to move energy like OMG, I brought the blood back up. And I would hold this point, and all of a sudden I could feel like, I learned how to do the hookup to get my energies. I learned to zip up so I can help my inner tangible. I learned to protect this so I'd stop being vulnerable. And I'm like, energy down and I'm vulnerable? Energy up, I'm not, and I can tell the difference. I learned how to measure. Same thing with my governing. Do I have paranoid? I'm not paranoid. Don't you say this, the outside. But then when you stop being the program, you're like, I think that was paranoid talk. You have to remove the stigma of shame and guilt and start looking from a different perspective. Getting to know these different perspectives allows you to get to see the programs that you don't know you're running. And then you can become more in charge with your thoughts. But in the meantime, people are just living through their face. They don't know how to connect. They don't know how to move the energy. They don't know how to be heart-brain coherence. They don't know this, that, or the other. And I'm here to teach you how to grow. We're looking at spiritual issues, not just physical, not just mental and emotional, but we're here to help you grow even further. So what does that even mean? Well, I'm not telling you to go home and eat right and exercise, which would be the thing I would tell you. Change your lifestyle, get out of the negative environment that's toxic. And when you can't do and change all that, then you grow where you are. And that's what I did. So it's not like it was handed to me. But you have to begin to know the difference. Who are you? What are you? You have to answer these questions. Good job. Good job, Terrence. You have to decide. Who has to decide? And what do you have to decide? Can you begin to notice? So, if I'm in my head and I'm complaining, that's a program. And if I'm catching that I'm complaining, it could be your ego, your false self, but it could also be that you're on the precipice of hearing your spiritual self, but you can't hear your spiritual self fully because it has to go through the filters or the perspectives of your false self. But you are beginning to become aware, which is the biggest, wonderfulest thing that your soul and your spirit chose so you could be human, so you could have this experience. If you are lost, you're in fear, you're in all that, why is the fear your leader? Why is your fear and something that you feel like you can't control? Because I know that there's stages of fear, and when you get to too much fear, holy crap, yeah, it feels like insanity. It feels like you should be in a nut house. It feels, but I've learned to use tools, EFT, it's intention, how to measure, because I did all these things individually, and I just felt like, God, it's not working. But who was saying that was my littles. But when I would witness as I'm going, I notice it, I hear that my shadows are talking, and I am spirit and I'm hearing, but I'm looking through the filter. Okay, I have to be present. All right, thank you. And I'll write down, my littles are saying these negative things. They believe this way. And then I'd be like, okay, on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being the worst, I believe it this way. And it's a strong, knowing sensation. And I would use EFT. I would use OMG. OMG was, I was listening to one time and in my head, and I had nobody around me, and I really just wanted company. But, I just moved here. And I met one person once, but, they have a busy life, and I have all these programs. And as a kid, you don't inconvenience people. Okay. Don't annoy them. Don't do it. I didn't know that that was running, but I was just like, feel this energy of pull. And it was in my head. And I'm like, why am I driving myself crazy about this? So I sat there and I measured it out, feeling, feeling, feeling. All of a sudden, the blood started to come back up because you got electromagnetic hands and you got electromagnetic blood. And as I started to bring it back up, it was like, wait, what? I could feel the 10 on my nerves to, okay, it's not on my nerves, but it's still there. Well, let's take it to 0. Get it down, get it down, get it down. Oh, so you're responsibly side cat nagging you, the study for my test, all of that. Yes, because you're trying to focus on something that you need. So you need the oxygen mask on, but you can't get it because everybody else needs it first. Well, in an airplane, you have to learn to put it on. Now, sometimes you can't, but at the same time, you're focused on what you can't do, which then tells the universe, hey, I'm ordering more of what I can't do. Oh, that sound. I'm ordering more of that sound. You don't know you're doing that. So you have to disconnect. You need to disrupt. You need to tell your nervous system, so what? I can tune that out. When it comes to the kids, I can learn to delegate differently, or I can learn to set up. I would have my children race around, and as soon as I go to the bathroom, they would all be in there with me. I'm like, what the heck? I can't take a shower. I can't do this. They're always at my feet. Well, then I learned that if I put my energy into that space, like the toy room, all of a sudden my kids were in the toy room. And then I was sitting there with energy and I'd be frustrated and I'd say, don't do that. And I noticed that they would be hurt by this. And I'm like, well, that's not the intention. And then I started noticing that, like, don't touch that. And all of a sudden they would touch that. Now, I'm like, wait a minute. They're following energy. So when I started to use and show up that my energy is that it's not what I don't want them to do. I imagined that the energy was in the play dish or something that I know distract them, like a color. And I would not go worry, worry, worry and put energy over there and then try to fake it with positivity. They're still going to follow the one that's the strongest of the energy. I thought, how bizarre. But how truthful, because we're made of energy. So when I started to leave energy into the space, they didn't realize that mommy wasn't physically there. I didn't pull my love away when I was and that I'm like, wait, what did I just learn? What I didn't know, but now I know, which helps me to understand. So when I was stressed, my aura would come in, and if you understand two magnets and they're on the good side, they're going to be stuck together. I don't have my magnets with me. And no, these aren't going to be strong enough. And they're going to be, yeah, it's not strong enough. And they'll be stuck together. And then until you flip them, then, right? Okay. But everywhere my energy went, they went. But when I realized that I could leave, not lose, not make me less, but my intention with joy and love, I left a part of me there. And then as I left a part of me there, okay, so let's say this is the part I left behind, I could do what I wanted because they didn't know. I didn't retake out my love. I didn't shrink my aura. So how did I leave a part of me there? I didn't let negativity shrink my aura. Okay, balanced it out, fixed my brain, stop being so, and so I would heal, I would tap, I would do all the tools I have, and then boom, my aura stayed out, and then I had this healthy boundary. People were entertaining themselves, and they were doing it in a healthy way, and I realized I'm not taking my love away. And I'm like, wait a minute. So when you're angry, you take your love in, and when you're frustrated, you take your love in. But I learned to put my energy out there. one time, it's not my story to tell, but Amy had told me the story, and we're about 10,000 miles apart or more, who knows. And I had a pinched nerve, which my aura and me were shut off because I couldn't tolerate the pain. So I had to be on medication until the swelling in my neck went down so that the nerve could relax. And when and Amy's like I said, 10,000 miles away, and our energy cord, which is entanglement cords, when that went like offline, it didn't disappear, just like offline. She says, "What?" So her higher self noticed something was different. And this is how her child felt. She gave me permission. This is how her child felt when her brother died when she was young, when her family members died, is that they're no more. Even people that are so stressed out, you think they're in their face, but I watched my mother lost her son at a young, he was very young when he died. She wasn't home. She didn't show up. She couldn't, emotionally distraught. And I'm like, God, where's my mother? And her aura, I didn't know at the time, was basically felt like it was dissipated. There was nothing there. I could see her. I couldn't connect with her. But then when the medication worked, my body, wonderful body, decided that, okay, we're going to heal every day. Let's get the fluid down. Let's get that pinched nerve. Let's get that. Oh, so my body got damaged, and then it was all right. And when I did, my energy came online. I was able to be in my body more. And then Amy was sitting there, and all of a sudden she's like, "What? What's that? That can come back?" And she caught what she said. She goes, "That's Brenda." She goes, and I feel like Brenda's saying she's back. She's back online. Her aura, her entanglement cord is back. And in her mind was like, you can connect with that? You can what? And that's the perspectives that help you shift. Trying them out, using them, it helps you shift. And it is very unique and weird, and yet we're not taught that we're energy. I remember when I start talking about energy, somebody says, "Well, that's just stupid." And I says, "Do you have heat in your hands?" "No, I'm cold." I mean, there was no concept. Your battery in your cells, are they functioning or are they not? Are you hot? Are you cold? Your energy, when you touch a dead body, there's no energy flowing through. So when you talk about people get on your nerves, oh my God, I can't shut this off. Or can I? There are times you're like, but I don't want to shut it off. I want to be angry because that's my protection. That's my safety blanket. Like I know some people have acid reflux because the moment they start putting joy in their space and they're really enjoying themselves, then all of a sudden it's like they're waiting for the shoe to drop. They're waiting for someone to tell you that it's wrong. You're waiting for the programming to gaslight you from when you're little. And so then your body is already created in anticipation. It's already in the program. And all of a sudden you're having fun. Let's say you're not drinking or nothing, but you're having fun. All of a sudden you'll get heartburn. I shouldn't be sitting. I need to keep myself busy. Who was that child? I know that as soon as we knew mom and dad were in the room, you got to look busy. You need to heal those programs out. You understand? You have to become aware of it first. And when you start talking negative, that's your little. And then that helps you see that, oh my gosh, I need to be my higher self. I need to become more that. And even though I'm complaining while I witness it, that is the part of you that hasn't transitioned into your higher self, because it uses gift of awareness to listen to your littles and your shadows, but you haven't finished getting the rest of the information, the language, the bridge to be yourself, the higher self, the one that was born in here. And that can be partial. That can be in discernment. That's why I use the tribal basics. You want the blood to come back up. You want your head to be balanced. You want to kick out these people, kick out these noises. But you're like, but I can't. And that's because you're little. Your fear is the leader. The program is telling you, I can't because I tried. But you have to wake up to be your higher self to say, wait a minute. And then when you do it, you got to go, oh, I did it. But you now have to rehearse it. You can't just have theory and practice. You need to make mistakes to find out where the parameters of the gutters are so that you know when you do it again, you don't have to aim for the gutter in bowling, right? So you want to take that next step and you want to begin to go, I am my higher self. And I can see that I'm losing power to this, and I can hear my littles, and you write it down, and then you're like, ah. So one time I was outside and I was teaching tribal, and if you want to join tribal, that's wonderful. That'd be great. But I was teaching tribal, and then somebody had a chainsaw. Now my body reacts so differently, so because you're in hypervigilance alerts. And stay with me. We're going to talk about how to heal that out in just a second. And my body went, oh, oh. And so it started getting on my nerves. I'm like, it would hyper focusing. And anyways, we were done with tribal. We got done. And I said, and so then I thought, okay, so I'm going to take care of this. So I started tapping. I started to, and it worked. But yet then all of a sudden it was like, no. So I used my success hope therapy, but I still did the OMG with it, okay? And I focused on how I know it's grinding on me. But I didn't go, it's because of this, because of this. Take the mental out, just feel. Use just the emotional body. Because I'm the type of person that absorbs it without wanting to. But that's how I kept myself alive. Okay? So as I'm... And people are saying, well, how come I can't send you money? You know what? They're changing media. Just go to paypal.me/reading11. You'll see me. Send, and then send as much money as you want and whatever it is. If you just want it for a love donation, just say love donation. Okay? Because, that's the only way I know how to do it, because at this point, people can't be, or share out. And let's get back to the story. It's not just a story. So as I was sitting there and tapping, or I'm holding this point, and then I started using SP, but then, and it was like, I didn't even realize that the chainsaw had been shut off. So then I sat there chatting with Alan, my husband, and we're chatting away. All of a sudden, he says, wow. He made a comment about the chainsaw. And he goes, because we love trees and stuff. And I said, that's on. Oh my God, I'm not out of my skin. I'm not, it's not pressing down on me. It's not pushing my button. It's not getting on my nerves. This is amazing. So I got on and I witnessed my higher self says, hey, I noticed, I witnessed. Now my brain, I need a new filing system. So I started to witness how that healing tool worked, how there's a before and there's an after. And I noted it. Then I wrote it down. Then I made a video and I set it up. And I fired and wired my brain to notice there was something different. So the next time I heard it, my body started not going into hypervigilance. And it was... as soon as I heard that it was a chainsaw, I wasn't going, oh my God, all my programs going off. It was, do you hear that? You're not lost power. You're not letting it get on your nerves. Oh my God, I tuned it out, because that was the thing I kept asking myself later, was like, how do you tune it out? How do you tune it out? How do you tune it out? So I learned. Now, some of you are like, well, what's the point? What's this? I'm going to tell you our sensory system. Everybody knows what that is, correct? Give you a second. Somebody made a comment. Hold on. I got to open up the big one. How do you heal out? And if you come sit down, I'll give you a few minutes to sit down, and we're going to walk through the healing tool together in just a moment. And I'm just hoping this isn't going to blast. It may or may. How do you heal out? And if yes, it did. Okay, no big deal. Celeste says, saying this here since too long, but TT. Oh, it reminds me of this obvious program I've been aware of, where if I want to hide if family are out or if there's unexpected company. Yes, your higher selves, recognizing the programs. The question with your higher self is, I'm aware I'm doing that, but do I need to? Do I want to? You're going to hear yes, but you are giving that energy to create a belief system so that you're creating a program for your GPS to always do that. Is I can't heal. I can't, this is my protection. But at the same time, what caused you to do that? And, obviously it was they're coming in. So they may say stuff, they may do stuff. And so we're using the awareness to protect ourselves, but eventually you're going to have different people in your space and you're going to find out you're still doing that. And it becomes a spiritual issue, spiritual issues. People need to know what those are. It becomes a spiritual issue. And when you begin to, oh crap, if I have a spiritual issue and this is my story and this is what I'm doing and I'm doing it to protect myself, then there must be another problem just prior to that where I've accepted, believed, and gave my willpower, which you only get 100%. But if you are not putting it in your body and you're putting it outside in your programs or you're putting it in your spiritual issues, your body's going to pay for it. And so you then train your brain that you have to do this program every time. And so you are always going to be taking this energy that should be to keep you alive and healthy and strong. You're putting it into these stories. So because there is, in like the old days, there's a tiger alert, but there's no energy left to support the body to help it so it doesn't have to go into a dis-ease state. So healing helps you get your power back, but the energy gets to be put into the aura so that you are protecting yourself instead of being slit, because when this one's down, the central vessel's down, you'll feel vulnerable, but you'll feel like your gut pig and you'll start absorbing everything in and everything will get on your nerves. So I would zip up. This is your very first thing. This here, people are like, zip up, that's stupid. But if you were going to measure your polarity, you have a tangi pull. And you need to start making a presence so that your soul and you can be in the body together. And so how are you going to show up for yourself? How are you going to show up for yourself? My higher self is hearing that I'm stressed. Now, I know that's a program. What can I do? My higher self says, well, first of all, let's zip up. Okay, let's zip up. And you can zip up this one, because if you start feeling paranoid, you can hook up to get the central and the governing together to govern you, to help you, protect you. There's more you can do. It's in the tribal basics. But at the same time, if you are so annoyed and your body has to be in hypervigilance, always has to be running by all these programs as a kid, I just want you to become aware of your sensory system. So, like for instance, if you were going, okay, I'm annoyed. I don't like it. It could be sound, it could be visual, but you take snapshots. Every part of your sensory system takes snapshots. And then the brain, when it goes to the brain goes left brain, right brain, they take all these snapshots and then it starts to form a memory. Okay. So if you were to do eye accessing with me, now there is several different ways to do this. The best way I'm going to say to do this is that if something is on your nerves right now, your eyes will drop. Just focus on what's on your nerves. And you'll notice like I'm looking at something and you'll notice that my eyes are like here. Okay? And you may hear comments, feedback, heckler, negativity. So you could put down on your piece of paper, you draw a pair of eyes, right? And then, or you can say, okay, if I'm looking at this piece of paper, you put a square and you say, I'm looking, knowing that your eyes are here, you could then say, I'm looking here. Now, what is here? And from your part of you, when you look through your face, your lower right is that you're feeling. The lower left is that you're auto talking about it. This is the internal dialogue. This is where you could turn around and you write all this stuff down. But if you notice, you could measure, God, I know it's there. You get a 10. 10's the worst, right? Now, if you can't tune out the environment, whether it's people, sounds, smells, whatever, smells, you use your nose, okay? Depending on which energetic part of who you are, like I'm an empath with a sensitive, all these other things, what does that mean? Well, I don't mean to absorb, but a kinesthetic, that's how you feel the world. And so if I'm looking, I'm going to deliberately look through one eye at a time. We're just going to talk about the eyes real quick, okay? And then we're going to use the ears, okay? Along with OMG, that tool. All right, so I'm going to give you a few seconds. Think about what's grinding on you. Write it down. Breathe in. What am I going to say next? And then focus on your issue again, and then write. Right. And as we breathe in and out, for those of you who are not following along, if you want to have a reading, you got 5, 15, or 25. So you can gift it, you can use it for yourself, which helps support this program. Now, you feel like you can't write anymore, just breathe in and out. Say thank you, Spirit, and focus on your problem, and then listen to see if you hear any more. Write it down. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to, when I say look through, like we're going to look through this eye, right? That means I'm looking through both eyes. Well, you can just focus on one eye. And that energy is all looking through that one eye at that issue. And some of you are like, well, I can't connect. Well, is it still there? Yeah, okay. Well, you can also muscle test. If you know how to muscle test, you can count. And you're like, that's there. And it's like 1, 2, 2. It's only a 2. Well, don't let that fool you. That can, any second, it can go up to a 10 or higher. So you want it gone. You want it, however it is. You don't want it to build up. You don't want to just have to tolerate it and let it grind on your nerves. Okay. Yeah, you can send the message through Messenger or Facebook thing, and I'll find it. As long as you let me know ahead of time. Yeah, you can go ahead and pay, and it comes through the PayPal, and that tells me. All right, so now let's say you have it. You're like, I can feel it. It's a high number. I want you to just cover the left eye with me, and you're going to focus only through the right. And I want you to feel how your nerves know it's true. Don't say it's because, just feel it. Just feel it. Just feel it. And you can put your fingers a little higher so you can actually heal one side of your head at a time. But you're focusing. As you breathe in and out, you hear, remove, transcend, let go. Whether it's yourself that you need to say it, you're going to clap your, snap, you're going to switch. Now you're going to kind of blink, only focus through that eye on that issue. You may find that it's there and it's a 10. Oh, but it's different than that eye. Witness, 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 right? You mark it down. Then you hear, you're staring at it, you're feeling it. Again, noticing you're touching here and the OMG point. And then you remove, transcend, let go. And then you blink, swap eyes. You go back to measure it, and you may notice the numbers coming down. You go, you stare, feel, remove, transcend, let go. Keep going, stare only through this eye, feel, let go. And you keep going back and forth until it's 0. The ears, because you got to be hyper vigilant, not just with the eyes, but hyper vigilant, right? So you're going to take your eyes and your ears. So at this point, you're going to learn how to look at your ears through using energy medicine. So you're going to take and notice that I'm going to cover up my left ear and I'm going to listen just through my right, only through my right, about that issue. You know, look at the issue. You can listen and see if there's any pictures, any sounds, any, you know, and you write it down. You may burp. You may notice the body saying, oh my God, yeah, that disturbs me. You hear, remove, transcend, let go. Then you swap ears and you focus all on this side. Oh, there's some stuff there. I can hear it. I know it. And I'm going to write this down. That really annoys me because your body's going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. In that peripheral vision, something's going to pop out at you. Because remember, it's a peripheral. Like I can't see my hands. Oh, I can see it here. Now, you got to keep your eyes. You can't go like this. You're straight ahead. And so, but if something comes in, now what's the scary part is that your peripheral vision, everything is distorted. But when you look, it'll come clear. But when you're not looking, it'll be distorted. And people that are in their fearful mind and they're looking straight ahead and that's there, they will distort because the brain has to go into the next best guess. It has to hallucinate. So it goes through a file system and says, oh, that reminds me of a spider. That reminds me of a... And so you take your first thought and you're like, you have to go into the fight, flight, freeze. But if you begin to train your brain that, do you have to be startled? This is distorted. Or can you learn to turn your eyes, breathe in and out, and stop using your fear as your leader? Okay? But if you do, and understand that it's part of the scene, the snapshots. And so if you're covering that up and you're looking at it and you're going, oh, without realizing, take your eyes over there. And it's your issue. Remove, transcend, let go, let go. Listen to only this side. Do that again. Bring it over. Every seeing and hearing, and here's your picture. Remove, I say I broke my fingers here. I can't really snap very well, but I'm getting there. Let go. And you keep doing it. Breathing in and out. Looking and hearing and seeing, remove, transcend, let go. And you keep doing this and you are taking the charge off the picture and then you're going to change the picture because you are saying, I had invested and I'm taking my investment out. I had, displaced to protect it. You know what? I don't need that anymore because it no longer serves. Take it out. And then that energy gets to go in your aura and then you get to be more stronger at protecting yourself. Okay. So has anybody done it with me? Has anybody done it? Do you, because it can go that fast. I can go wait a few more minutes. You all can then tell me, does it work? But noticing how your eyes are. So if people wanted to continue, like it's not here, but I can feel it. I know it's still there. Then drop your eyes down. Okay. And put your hand on your chest. And you can look down. And if you're in the right, you're feeling, or maybe that's your self-talk. Sometimes I hear people get a little confused with that because they're, instead of their right brain communicating with left and your left communicating with right, sometimes it'll be more homolateral. And so it can be very tricky. So if whether you're feeling it or hearing it, auditory, digital, the internal dialogue, you can remove, transcend, let go, and then you look, remove, transcend, let go, and then you bring it over and you look and listen and feel here, remove, transcend, let. You keep doing it back and forth. Okay. So you can do upper, middle, and the corners. You can do smell, and you can do taste, so above and below. You can, and another one is near and far. So far, if I'm focusing, I'm like, okay, but then I go over here. So your brain, your proprioception goes, not. But then when you are focusing, and you can bring it even nearer and then far, but you can measure the bothersome, whether it's a physical issue or whatever. Up close, it's no big deal, but far away, it's like, oh my God, right? Measure. Now take your eyes, and if you feel like that's okay, now take your eyes and go even further and look at the next object out in front of you. That looks like it's no big deal. Oh, now that one didn't have a measure. Now it's got a measure because you're looking at different depths. Who am I? Where am I? What's going on in this space? Now you can also take and do your head this way and then look at your peripheral this way and to measure the proprioception. Oh my God. So your eyes are over there, and then remove, transcend, let go. And then all of a sudden your eyes are over here. Remove, transcend, let go. Oh, apparently needed that one. But you're working with the proprioception. This isn't a joke. These work. They work more when it's a one-on-one, when it's in your space, and you can, like, if you're sat in front of me, I can muscle test you so that you could be engaged with it. Okay. All right. Anybody have questions about this? So if you're feeling, then you can just put your hand in. Oh, thank you. Hey, it says I could have gifts. Oh, I'm surprised. You told me earlier it couldn't. But you can watch us again on YouTube. You can subscribe. You can like. You can. What slide is it? I don't even know what slide it's on. Media has changed itself. Now we're going to take and start doing readings in a few minutes, or you can share what you've gone through, and that would be help. This one does, but not the other. Okay. Media has changed. So when the show's over, go to the YouTube and make a comment, hit the like, give me retention, meaning watch it, keep it open in the background, turn me down if you have to, but give me the retention. That's another way to give back if you've learned anything in this show. You make a comment below. Great show. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. You could ask questions. But you can help out with this new way, and subscribe if you haven't. Okay. All right. Watch as many times as you want. Learn, ask questions. If you're sitting there, I should have asked her when she was live. No, you can still ask it. Type it in the comments. However you choose. Now, I'm looking at Miss April Lynn. She's paid to come on. I'm going to give her a link in a moment or two, as long as I know that she's ready. Looking for the link. We're going to now transition into our readings and things. Let me get this. And then Morgan, you'll get your reading soon. I know that we have Autumn. So yeah, okay. So Autumn, is that can never understand the transaction here. Is it just for the read for Allison, or you two, or what? Because like it's hard to tell how much was actually being sent from this app here. So, oh, she's ready. Good. And then, we have Autumn and then Morgan. Okay. All right. Let me get into the right space. Oh, that's not it. Let's try it again. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, there we go. There you go. And got it. You just, okay, good. Let me just see if that's there. I open it this way, I think. So you're talking two then? One for you and one for her, or are they both for her? You gotta decide. And why didn't that open yet? Oh, it did. Okay. Oh, yep, Morgan got it. We're all set with that. Now, this is the part where people say, I want healings, but I want proof. I want to know this stuff works. Well, it does. And depends on how far you are on what you need to receive, what are you learning. And you'll learn from many people that have come on that, oh, I'd like to be where they are. Well, they are a catalog of life because they've been putting the time and the effort into their soul to grow. And here's one that has done it for quite a few years. I can't remember how many years we've been doing. Hold on, I got to get the right one. Because they've been putting the time and the effort. Oh, you have to mute me, Bub. To grow. And here's one that has done it for quite a few years. I can't remember. All right, I'm going to mute you. So then you mute me. And then we will have you unmute yourself. Yeah. That's funny. But, you know, at the end of each show, we have people that have been working on themselves or they're freshly new and you get to learn. Hopefully it'll work. And your face is saying, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. What's going on? I'm running the background somewhere. But see, she don't have to be on her last nerve. I'm not pushing it. This is a good teaching tool. Thank you, Spirit. We're holding space so that she can zero in and narrow in to figure out what needs to be done. And then just like that, she'll go, oh, there's that little speaker on that video at the top of that web page. I'm going to click that. Yep. And then I'm going to close it. She's like, I'm looking. It's okay. I'll keep talking. I'm pretty good at that. I muted you so you can laugh out loud all you want. But this is life. And if you allow your higher self to go, am I supposed to be angry with this? No, I don't need to lose power to it, but this is interesting. I'd like to show up. What's going on? Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. And then next thing you know, she's going to keep looking and say, what's open? So there must be a tab in my web browser, or there must, well, if you got Facebook.
Now.
There you are.
Is there an echo?
No, I don't hear me.
Okay. So my mind was hearing you talk on the Zoom, which caused confusion because I was like looking for the Facebook and I deleted both the Facebook pages. So I'm trying to figure out how you're still talking. But my mind wasn't processing. She's on the Zoom because there was something over the Zoom screen.
Okay. There you go. See, she didn't have to lose her stuff. She just knows that I have to show up and say,
easy,
let me
peasy, lemon squeezy.
That's right. Yes. And the turnaround time is great. So I was saying that people can watch this next part of these segments because you're a catalog of life. You're also a veteran. How many years have you been putting wonderful time in yourself? Not just before you met me, but from the time you met me, you know, that helps to.
It's 2020.
In 2020. I started in 2019. So she's like, I know there was a handful of people out there like, where is this person I need to learn from? But she's learning to learn from herself. So I'm giving the skills that she needs. And when, you know, she comes on, she doesn't just go, okay, that's done. She knows how to read. She knows how to communicate with her higher self. She knows how to, and then when she's like going, okay, you know what? I'm not going to use my ego to define this. I'm going to go and we're going to work it out. So how would you like me to help you?
I just want to do more healing on this aspect.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, a big window of opportunity in the planet has made certain aspects, stand out like sore thumbs. And they're standing out like sore thumbs that you have to learn more about how to be your higher self to understand the language of your aspect that is not just a particular age but it can be a particular theme. Okay, how it protected itself, but it could do it 1,000 different ways. So in order for the integration process of your higher self and your soul, because your soul is occupying this body, right, and these aspects are going, wait, and then comes in and your program will begin to want to take over. Now, first of all, how did you know it's an aspect so that people can understand? How can I tell if my aspect's in the way?
Because I have done this and I have witnessed and I know what I feel like when I'm in alignment. When I'm out of
Not
alignment,
herself. Is that me?
yeah. Yeah, when I am not, it's just like having a bad case of hiccups. You just hiccup. Wait a minute, I'm myself, but something just keeps hiccuping here, or something.
I love that.
So, and I was having these strange dreams for
Oh,
a couple weeks, just really, and I'm like, what the heck? And then a couple Sundays ago, you had did the aspect, and I'm like, hmm. I think that's what I'm dealing with. But since I've noticed it and called it out, there was a couple nights I didn't have that dream.
ah. And what about your daily life? How would it show up?
So my aspect is from my childhood when something would happen and I would go to respond, but I would get hollered at for responding or whatever. So when I looked into it, it was fear, but then it was also um the rejection, the judgment. So if I'm talking to you and all of a sudden I'm an eye contact person. So if I'm talking to you and all of a sudden you're just like la 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 over here, I just stop talking
I
because
just
you're not paying attention to me.
right, right.
And then so I'm like, okay, why? And then a few people have done that to me lately where I'm in the middle of a sentence and I went to call it out and say, hey, I have this awareness of this thing that triggers me. And right in the middle of explaining that, that person is looking, we're in a conversation, and that person just starts walking toward me and says, excuse me. And then they go past me. And I'm like, okay, what
That's
was that?
that was specific.
Yes, the person needed to go to the bathroom in a hurry, but instead of saying, hold that thought a minute, let me run to the restroom and we'll come back and I'll listen to you. No, there was none of that. It was just an automatic, I'm talking, they're standing here, they come towards me, can you move? And then they went to the bathroom in a hurry, like that thing. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay, I got more healing on this. So I've been working and talking
okay.
and an
Now that's
aspect,
beautiful.
yep, is
So
kind of go ahead.
so notice again, we need to get you to become your higher self. So your higher self says, hold on, that's not me. Again, that's for a lot of you to understand. That's not me. It's not the same as when some people walk around going, oh, that's not me. No, she's using her higher self. She's in her fixed state. She's this person, and yet she's watching the inner world show up on the outer world, and it is, but that's not me. Meaning, well, why is this happening? But she's also knowing that in her head or in this feeling state, this aspect's going, oh, I'm upset, I'm mad, I'm rude. She's then going saying, that's not me. Okay. But she's not saying deny, deny, deny. She's going, my program, my aspect is talking. So she's going to say, oh, my aspect, and this isn't about disassociation, this is higher self understanding. She's being herself. Okay, so what she described to me was I noticed that there was imbalance in power when, because the connection should be equal, but it wasn't. It was this, it was that, it was the other. There was out of syncness. There's, and yes, that was, I'm going to tell you for one, April, is that that's part of also what's happening with the planet is all of a sudden you just be out of sync and you're like, I had it all week. And I'm like, stop, got to get back into alignment because we're shifting timelines. Some timelines are changing. But so here she is, she's listening and she's hearing her aspects say, this is what I know. So her inner world filing cabinet and aspect has come forth. Now she could follow it and be completely hurt and be rude, and she could start complaining in her head, which is more of the aspect. And she in her higher self will go, okay, I'm losing power because I'm complaining about it. I'm losing, no, cancel, clear, delete. She can be your higher self and hear this. Now, if she is hearing it but can't, so if her soul has to stand back further, you got to tell me how close or how far. Like you didn't register until later, a week later. It's like almost immediately, or however it is. Where are you? Okay, well, like, because when you're in the live moment, you're unable to really write the stuff down, but you may be able to be far enough back that you can go, I can hear it. I'm going to memorize this particular energy field. Okay. And then she's able to recall it, not complain, fire and wire and make yourself worse, but her higher self saying, take point. I need to put this down. So it's like bullet points. Okay. And that's why she's here. So she's bullet pointing. So she's now going, I'm not going to sit there with my ego or my aspect and run around in circles and make it worse, dig a deeper hole. I'm going to present it. And Spirit said, hey, how about if you talk to Brenda? So she's, okay, I don't need to let these emotions make me worse. My higher self says, that's not me. I'm not going to give any more power to it. So these are all wonderful stages. So what I'm looking at is that she's a very visual person, but we have all the sensory systems, but the one sensory system that seems to be connected to this is your kinetic self. Okay. Your, oh my gosh, I can't. Okay. So this has to be a part of you right here. I know how to say kinesthetic, but I can't think of the word. I look at the word. I can't make pronunciations with the word. There's a whole hesitation, and I want to go fear and panic. I mean, I know the word's kinesthetic, but for me to try to have a conversation with you, all of a sudden I go, so your aspect's telling me I can't. So it's stuck. It draws a blank. It's in this space. And so this is what happens. She's here, la, 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 la. And then all of a sudden somebody comes in that field that has that signature. And all of a sudden she goes into, what? But her higher self, if I could imagine, her higher self's going, oh, look, okay, I need to take some notes. Now, this is a scalar field. She can't help but to show up that way every time. This is what has been your world, my world. And then we come together and we created this conclusion that we have to keep repeating. So she's aware of this. Her higher self says, yeah, I'm done with that. And it's not about this person. It's about your program inside. Key thing here is pressure. Now, we talk about color. We talk about speed, the vector. But this time, it's not just the intensity, but we'll look at the pressure. So if you're with somebody, and now she's going to look through her higher self and feel the pressure that maybe they are under, they're in their world. See, I used to grow up with people that were on drugs. And they say, oh my God, Brenda, la, 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 la. They'll come to me. but they're everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. And you go to talk, you're irrelevant. And then you feel this pressure that you're supposed to perform for them, or there's pressure that you're supposed to be nice to them. There's because they're going to blow off the handle, or there's pressure. And when you start to go, what if I walked away? Would they even notice? Because it's not my needy little self that says, I didn't get love. But your higher self saying, I'm here. I'm showing up for myself. And we're out of sync. And at the same time, there's a part of me. Now, this is part of the aspect that wants something from them. So she's going to repeat the event over and over. And so then I'll say, what is it that she's repeating that makes that signature show up so they can do this scalar field dance? And it says that from that aspect, it's looking for this vividness, this aliveness in this moment. It's like, if I'm having this conversation with you, you have these feelings, right? In a kinesthetic way that you feel like, oh, cool, let's connect. I'm sure if we had coffee, we'd just be goofy little nuts, happy little larks. You know what I mean? And we wouldn't we have to pressure it before, but we would just be present and we feel. So there's a kinesthetic feel, not just the visual aspects, but a feel. And so you can't really connect with somebody that is wanting you to fulfill their needs, or you are the one that's supposed to comfort them, or because I took on the role of someone that's supposed to entertain, be a servant. I took on the role of, let me help you because you can't help yourself. I took on the role of, that's the only way I can get my needs met or to be seen. So there's all these different perspectives that are starting to really come forward. Your little, let's just say that aspect is saying, wait, what? And it can't regulate when somebody acts that way. Now your higher self's going, So we're looking at your little that says, yeah, there's no connection. And I know how I'm treated because your little told you. You're there, you're present, you're talking, and then they don't want to be there. It's not about you as much as they don't want to be there. They don't know how to cope, handle, deal with any of their stuff. And so they are stuck in a present time of issues and things like this, or emotions or stress and blah, 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 blah. And it's not that they don't want you. It's just that they don't have connection. So what part of you is sitting there thinking, oh my God, it's my fault? Or what part? Because again, this aspect is used to, get out of my way. Oh, your aunt just comes into mind.
Yes. And my mother, because I didn't really have a connection with her because she was in survival.
Right. Okay, there you go. There you go. So how you know your world, your higher self is saying, this is beautiful. I am giving voice to my aspect and I'm getting it. But we have to help the aspects through the emotions. Okay. So with this, I'm looking at how your gallbladder meridian is that if I look at how you got your gallbladder still?
Yes.
Okay. I'm looking at how your gallbladder is running the right side of this energy field. So your body is going, oh, I'm going to, and it's in the reconstruct zone. So it's not in the remembrance. So you're like, I've seen this before, but I haven't seen this before. Okay. So as you're healing, you've seen it, but this seems bizarre. So you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to reconstruct, but you're saying, well, I don't really want to say it's this and then reinstall an issue. So you're looking, you're constructing, and it's a fair amount. It's a fair amount because you've done this before, but it's a fair amount. So if I said to you, the situation you just explained, okay, we're going to measure it. And then I want you to take and cover up your left eye. And I want you to take this eye and look straight up to the upper right. And I want you to tell me if there's a number to the situation, the spiritual issue. Look straight up
No,
there and just feel. No?
there's no number. That
Okay, now.
it's not even a zero. It's just blank.
See? Okay, that means something. That means something. I said, so why do I see something? And they said, because she hasn't understood the pressure. I said, really? And they said, yes. Now have her swap eyes, swap to the other side. Now look into the other direction, because in the remembrance is there's pressure. Pressure from them to get out of my way. Pressure for them that I need to behave. Pressure to, do you understand? Feel
Yeah.
how you're getting drawn in
So
like a magnet.
it's weird because it like flashes like a 1 and then it's a 3, then it's a 1 and a 3.
Right. It
But
doesn't
this
make
is really
sense.
weird because I see blue and yellow.
Good. Because you're more visual. So you're seeing more frequencies. Okay. So as you're doing that, just breathe and feel your issue, feel the spiritual issue, and then remove trend. Okay, can't really there. Remove transcend, let go. Now take your eye, don't take your hand up, take your eye. Now drop it all the way down in the opposite corner. So if I forgot which way you're looking. So you'll go to
The
all right.
left
So
down.
which way were you looking when you were looking up?
I was looking to the left.
Okay, so now look to the
So,
lower right. Look to the lower
okay.
right for me. Now feel the spiritual issue, feel it, and see if there's a snapshot of that storyline, of that time, of that feeling.
There's
Because,
nothing.
okay, so now remove transcend, let go. Now look to the lower left.
There's nothing there.
Okay, now, and I said, is there nothing or is there supposed to be 0? So if I look at the lower right, it is actually in the negatives. It's like I can't connect with. I can't connect with. Okay, so notice that we changed the words, that I'm in a disassociating pattern when they show up that way. I can't connect with. Do you understand? Okay. So if we were to say, I can't connect with that, or I don't want to connect with that, you actually could get a measurement. Feel how it's safe.
Okay, when I say I don't want to connect with that, I see a 0 looking on the left side down.
Okay. And any on the right.
I still don't see anything.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Because this is new to you to learn how to be that other part, right? Okay, now remove transcend, let go. Now swap eyes and then look up into that direction for yourself. And I want you to feel how you're feeling outside and you can see it. Rehearse the story that you told me of that incident and your aspects going, I've got pictures, I've got the receipts and proof. Okay. So now we're going to.
So when I take my right eye and I look to the left, I see a 1. And when
Okay.
I look to the right, I don't see anything.
All right. Now drop inside your chest, drop inside the body. Feel the act of them moving, pushing, pressuring you to get out of the way. Because first you felt no connection. They're with you and you want to connect. And you're talking and you can't connect. And there's that nothingness that we can measure, but I didn't ask you to measure it yet. The nothingness. But now feel how they want to pressure you to get out of the way. There's an urgency that you're in the way.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was really odd because it was just like, oh, wait, I was in the middle of a sentence.
There you
And then
go.
I was like, why didn't they just say they had to use the restroom?
Right. But you can feel the pressure
Mhm.
because sometimes with people it's true. Yeah, I got diarrhea. Or it's an excuse because their nerves need to get them to move. Or maybe they don't know how to say, oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Or they don't know how to end something. You have a lot of scenarios that are happening all at once. So I see all these variables, okay, of different situations you've been in where people can be rude or nice, and you're like, I wouldn't do it that way. I would do it this way. So we're not able to see a different perspective yet. But this is the kinesthetic part of you, okay? It's not just visual. So kinesthetic part of you is holding a particular pattern from what I can see. And pressure, the pressure of, like your physiology. So do you need to do that? No, the physiology, is feeling that there's it's like, well, let's say me and you are not done talking, but yet I quit. Okay. And I walk away.
Yeah, my body would go, okay,
That's
what just happened?
good. That's what we want. That's what we want. Now I want you to hold R3S because your nervous system is saying that I have to be on guard, protect myself. My nerves have to go into stress mode, even though I may not be stressed. Okay. Now I want you to feel it. I want you to be in that. So I want you to notice you went from happy and the nervous system got a disrupt and that this got stuck there. Yeah, you sent me the video. You know what I'm talking about. Feel that interrupt. Feel that unfinished business. Feel that, oh, thank you. Feel it. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Notice how you got stuck and the nervous saying this is unfinished. How do you know it's unfinished? The conversation or whatever. How do you know it's unfinished? It wasn't, done. Now, stare at that and you tell me something. Stare in any direction, whatever, but feel it. How do you know it?
Okay, when I take my right eye and look up to the right, I see a 3.
Okay. Now remove, transcend, let go, and just start feeling again. Feel the nervous system that says, I am supposed to be stressed. Now, if I said, is she in fight? No. Flight? No. Freeze? No. Fawn. You're supposed to fawn. Feel the pressure to be something you don't want to be. She's smiling big. What's that mean?
It's just my visual. When I was like trying to figure out what my aspect is, I got like, okay, he's like a guide, kind of like maybe like a guide dog or something. So, and he was a protector. So he would lead me down the path, and that's where I developed these programs for safety.
Yeah.
And then now I'm on a new path and I'm walking on my new path, but it keeps trying to pull me back over to the old path. And I'm like, no, I want to go this way. We don't need to go that way anymore. I want to go this way.
Right. So now we just have to look at that and we'll measure that number and say, it owns me, it pulls me. No, it don't. Let the leash go. Let it start following you instead of leading you.
Yes.
Because it's not going to want to be separate from you. Just say, okay, I'm going to let that remove, transcend, let go. And as you do, it's going to let you be the leader again.
So when I look up to the left, the upper left is just a 1.
Okay.
And when I look down the left, it's a 0.
All right. Now
My
feel
right
inside
eye,
your chest.
huh?
Take your eyes and drop it into your chest. Drop it into your form. Drop it into your body. Drop it in. Does the body need to be stressed?
Oh yeah, I see a 4.
Okay. Now feel the pressure or the pull. Like if that dog's leading, feel the pull and like you can't control that. Let it go. And then notice that, let's say you let it go and it's got to come back and push you and to pressure you to grab the leash. And you're like, no, thank you. I don't have to fawn. Now, fawn, how would you do that to your family and friends? It was your safety of, I have to fawn. If you allow yourself to move, transcend, let go, go back 5 minutes before you knew how to fawn, what would be the feeling, the moment that, oh, I need to fawn. What did you lose? Did you lose their attention? Did you lose their love? And you find out you're pushing and pulling the pressure because you believe that you are less than or your needs aren't met. But why do you need to? Because now your higher self can fulfill your needs. So just remove, transcend, let go. And as you begin to notice, do you have to believe the pressure? Now come back inside the body. Is the pressure still there?
It's a 2.
All right. So now notice that. Notice the belief. I accepted, I believed, I've got proof. And you're just going to remove, transcend, let go, and then come outside yourself and release and let go, just like you're dropping a pen or you're going to the toilet. It's like, whoa, you feel this. I don't know how else to get you to physically feel the.
Release that shit.
Yeah, exactly. But then all of a sudden it's like, whoa. Okay, now remove, transcend, let go. Let's go back and say, inside, what do you feel?
I don't feel. I felt like I was tied up before. Now I feel like I'm not tied up.
Good, good. So let's go back and rehearse this moment when you're talking to people. And why would it have to bother you? You can now you're going to go, well, do I need to keep attracting these people in because that's how I knew it?
Mm-hmm.
But how about if I measure that nothingness? And there's a nothingness that occurs that feels like I need. So some of your needs when you're little needed to connect up. So it always hook up to the wrong people's energies because that's all that was available.
Mm-hmm.
How am I okay with that nothingness? Because your higher self can fulfill. But if you were to measure the nothingness and you see a person, you want a beeline to talk to them, notice that you've got a motivation, is it true though? Is
No.
it true? Okay. So in that nothingness, it's okay, correct?
Yes.
And you then begin to feel their energy that they have to anticipate, jump, worry, fear because of the unknown, but you are going, no, I don't. Now, you feel like it's gone or is your arm hurting? What's going on?
Yeah. My arm was getting stiff.
Okay, just relax that for a moment. Yeah, like wave it off. Wave it off. Now, because of the triple warmer, okay, that's happening, I just want you to grab underneath here and then this point right here and just kind of sit there and talk to me. Okay. We're just going to sit for a minute and we're going to help you triple warmer smoothie, calm down a little bit. But we got to get that triple warmer to not say that it has to be ignited, catch on fire. Now, what's happening is that if fire, which is the triple warmer, the stress, if the fire, that means the yang is just like, woo, ah, yin cannot come in and cool it off like it's supposed to because it's suppressed by the fawn. The pressure to, I can't show up, I can't do this. Okay. So imagine that yang needs yin, so too hot and cool. And if they were doing checkpoints, okay, it's like you're driving down the road and your car goes beep 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 because you went too far on the left, too far on the right, whatever. You're not doing anything wrong, which is what we believe. It is to help you keep in your lane, help you from not, like if you're going to go bowling, you don't want the ball to go in the gutter, okay? But you don't need to have bumpers. You're not a baby anymore. You're going to learn how to roll the ball to go where you want it to go. So you're learning to aim, you're learning to throw, you're learning to be present. And the body needs to know that it can come along because body's consciousness is different than you in your consciousness. So we're letting the body know that you don't have to be pressured to fawn. That's what you did to survive, but you don't have that same threat. But the file system is saying, my inner world, my outer world, this is what we got. And you're like, oh, so my little wants to evolve. My aspects want to evolve. And in order for the aspect to start to integrate, especially if your soul is in charge, it can't bring its baggage with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now, good. Now swap sides, because that one felt really good. Because I'm watching how you're doing homolateral. So I eventually want the right to communicate with the left and the left to communicate with the right. But let's get this triple warmer to say, yeah, no, I don't have to be so efficient. My brain needs to be so efficient that it's learned that I have to go into the stress state. But that's not me anymore. Okay, body's consciousness. That's starting to work. So you know that the unknown doesn't have to be necessarily scary. Now, the body doesn't have to mimic, copy, monkey see, monkey do, and that's who I'm supposed to be. You're helping the body go, I'm in charge. Come on, aspect. Let's integrate. Let's stop doing an auto response. And when next time this person comes along, why do I have to track this? I don't have to hook them up. I don't need to go, oh, I have to go get my needs met. No, you know, in your nothingness, you are safe. You can connect with who you want to connect with. You're okay being alone. You're not your misery anymore. You're like, whatever. You know. Oh, see, now I just felt you shift. And now we're going to go to the spine, and you got your little handy dandy hand ready. So let me figure out which one. Ugh. Okay, goodness. So, T3 and T6. So T3 and T6 is, I can see it. T3 is right up here in T6. So it's right above the hump, before you would get that curve. Okay. And she's breathing in and out. And then that is going to help with the central and the governing, what keeps going down. So the next time, so when people, I love people, but at the same time, those that are on drugs, I cannot hang with. So my body just kind of makes it so we hit and miss, but I'm not ever going, oh, I need to be with that. You have to take, no, help that little to grow. And so if they're not on drugs and they want to come talk to me, that's fine. But I don't have to just like entertain them because that's where they are. No, I don't need to do that. Oh, okay. So now I feel like that's better. Now, when you think of this moment, ooh, good yawn. Get that moving. And everything you explained, go back into your mind and say, yes, I saw that. Now see if your body, it wants to be stressed because it happens. Is the story still there? Don't just logically think it. Don't just visually think it. I want you to kinesthetically notice that the body's consciousness is saying, my interrupted moment is clear. It's starting to dissipate. I don't have to. You're taking the charge off so that the memory can be a memory, not a hiccup. Ooh, you look a lot better. But the beautiful part is because your higher self is saying, I'm seeing this. And you're building that bridge in that language. And you're taking action, not out of fear, but out of ready for growth. So this is a good thing. So now when I'm looking at it, I don't see it anywhere. You're going to still have all of these things but you don't need to go and have it push your button in the 41 thoughts and say, I got to talk to everybody, or it's really on my mind. And you should feel like that hiccup's smooth now. So when you notice, so just kind of breathe in and out. Be aware of, like, even when you get off the show, if there's any tug or pull. And if there's any tug or pull, then I want you to just do R2D because your body is scanning. And I said, if the body is scanning, which is what you know as a child, like a dark night of the soul of the child, all of that other stuff, but it doesn't need to recreate because in the nothingness, it wants to create what it knew. So if you're sitting there and you're like, okay, so let's say it's not in the first 41, in that minute, but all of a sudden 30 minutes later, it comes up and you're aware of it because that's not you. Okay, so you're aware of it. Then you're gonna go, oh, I'm trying to recreate because this moment is new, meaning I got to fill in the blank. You know what uncomfortable situations, you have to fill in the blank. You constantly talk. Well, you're going through, everything's smooth, and then it comes in. Then if you do R2D.
Whoa.
What?
It just lost sound. Your
You can't
lips
hear
are
me?
moving. No, it was so weird. Now my thing says my internet connection is unstable. You were talking and then you went completely silent, but I see your lips moving. And
Okay,
then,
that's a good sign. That's a good sign. So I'm going to repeat this so that
okay,
your brain can understand that when you have uncomfortable silence and stuff is happening, you don't need to entertain it. You can pause. You're going to go right wrist, second position, nice and deep, R2D, and you are going to go, I'm not going to reinstall that. In that uncomfortableness, that should be happy joy. I don't need to recreate what I knew. I'm going to feel it, notice, because again, you're being forewarned from the test that says, you want to reinvest it? Do you want to reconstruct it? Do you, because if you focus on it and you're like, oh yeah, that's how I know, and you are going to keep that story, you're going to add the R2D and go, oh, and then get it down to zero because you don't have to install it again because
correct.
all these other aspects of you are going, but I didn't get a turn to talk. I had that same story. I got the help yourself out by saying, no, we don't have to hook up to that energy anymore. Let's change the filing cabinet. Let's clean up the hoarding that we have of our exploding filing cabinet. Let's clean this up. And you're going to learn how to be comfortable with your silence, comfortable with your nothingness, because nothingness is everything. And you know you love joy. You know it. And so you're like easy peasy. I got my sunshine, you know. And then maybe your brain then will say, I don't need to hallucinate, put in the next best guest, which is to say this is uncomfortable. No, maybe it'll stick a song in. You are my sunshine. You know, all of a sudden, she's like goes into a tune. I mean, my house is more or less like a musical. I don't really care for those musicals, but I'm singing and a dancing in my kitchen or somewhere because I don't need to fill in the blank of fear, worry, what other people think. I've helped healed my RTJP, that right temporal junction parietal lobe that thinks what other people think, and I've kind of upgraded it so it doesn't have to be stuck. It's that child. My nervous system doesn't have to be stuck as that program. So everybody else can fly off the handle. I don't have to. Okay. How you feel?
I feel good.
And the thing that was on your mind, is it weighing or isn't it weighing? Which, does it have pressure?
No, I think at the beginning, it's like I feel like something's there, but I can't really see it.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm seeing a perspective and it's still sinking in. And
Okay. Yeah,
then,
yeah.
um, because with, having that guide, the guide is telling you, hey, come over here. This is the path you need to take. And I'm like, no, I've already been on that path. I want to go this way.
Right.
And I think it's interesting because we when it is quiet and we're uncomfortable and we don't know what we're doing, we're
Right.
like, oh my gosh, this is scary. This is scary. But yet we will travel and go somewhere new that we've never been with an open mind and go, hey, I've never been to Ohio before. Let's check this out. And we're fine,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
not on everyday things.
Or with people, yeah, all there's so much to look at, and but the more that you get your past and you resolve those, you get that life force back. So you can look at the next thing you want to do and enjoy it. Like I'm gonna go to New Caledonia and Vanuatu and I'm gonna do all these things. And so you can either worry about it or you can learn about it. You can hype yourself up about it, in a great way. Like all your traveling, I loved all your pictures.
I will send you extra money if you
Oh,
answer this. My cat Samurai, I
mhm.
just kind of noticed he's there, but something seems different. So I didn't know if it was just something for me or if there's something with him that may need attention.
um, Immediately I'm going to the gut area. Could he have parasites or has he gotten parasite cleansed? I mean, the energy is like really wiggly. in
Okay.
the intestinal area at this point. And so I
Okay.
feel like the digest is off. And I thought, now if that energy of, and the way I'm reading it is a certain, this is healthy, this is unhealthy. This is the best way for me to explain it to you.
Okay.
And so the thing that's showing up is the intestines.
Okay.
Okay. And I look at it and I'm thinking, is the pH level off? Yes, there's something to do with it's like instead of being balanced, you got healthy bacteria, unhealthy bacteria. It feels like the unhealthy bacteria may be a little bit more than the other. So as I'm feeling, it's like, okay, if we correct that, I don't know how you correct it in a cat. You probably know how to correct it as far as like we know how to take good flora for our body.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I look and I'm thinking, is the cat taking something on? Okay, in the environment, which usually they do, but in this case, the cat is okay. Now, weird because I heard in my brain the cat has experienced loneliness. And I thought, okay. And then at the same time, it says it doesn't know how to exert its power. And I said, is this body consciousness talking to it? Or is this what the cat is meant to? And then, yeah, it's in the environment, isn't this and that? And I says, because she went on her trip? No, 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 no. What, has anything changed? And I feel it may not necessarily be in the household, but did his favorite buddy outside or that he could smell and sniff has, and that thing, you wouldn't see it, okay? Because
Right.
cats have this
The
media.
only thing that has changed is because I work 3 10-hour days. I'm not as home as much to cuddle.
That's why I said don't blame you
Yeah.
because this
Okay.
is not inside the household. See, it's not
Okay.
inside the household. But
Okay.
this is where I think the smells,
Okay.
like let's say a dog goes outside and he goes pisses here, sniffs here, marks his territory. So that's his Facebook post. Okay, he lives
Right.
and sees what the day. A cat has something similar, and but the something has changed. Like he may have had a favorite enemy or a favorite cat or a favorite dog or there was a rapport that's not anymore, and it may not be obvious because let's say the dog down the street has not been down the street for a month. The cat is saying something's different.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like there's a shift in your community. And your cat is saying it's shifted, but I'm experiencing loneliness. So I says, is this loneliness the cat? No. It is feeling how uncomfortable it is or incompatible with. I feel like there's another animal that moved in the area or something, and it is experiencing its issues. Okay. I said, why would the cat need to do that? The cat is saying, it's just my habit. Now, as I'm doing that, the cat's stretching and yawning. I don't know whether it's real time or not, but it's stretching and yawning, sticking out its little paw and twisting, and it's all good. But I said, so what's causing the disruption in the digestive tract? And as I'm looking a little bit further so that I can, no, male or female?
Male. He's 8 years old.
Now I'm looking further down into, so it's been fixed.
Yes.
Okay. I'm looking further down in what makes a cat, right? The reproductive system and stuff like this. Now, what I'm noticing is that I asked if it's physical, mental, emotional, energetically, I'm looking at, because it's aging, I'm looking at the lymphatics of this, and there seems to be a congestion somewhere. Okay. I'm like, okay. a little bit more. And they said, well, I think your cat needs a good massage for one. Or maybe just
So
telling me it wants a massage.
my cat loves the massager. So I
Oh,
have this massager that goes like this. I take my hand and I put the massager on his back and I go like that.
that's not
He
enough. He
loves
wants
it.
more. He wants more.
Yes. I will
He wants
do
more.
it and I'll start doing and
Yeah.
it's funny because I just gave him a massage before I got on.
Oh, because it's saying, I want more of that. It's being a little greedy right now.
They like the vibration
Yeah,
thing or whatever. And I was
exactly,
like,
exactly, exactly. And but it also helps with that immune system.
mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing. And I said, tell me more about the digestive, or do we need to focus on this? They go, the only thing you need to, how's the teeth?
I haven't really checked his teeth in a while.
Okay, salivary, teeth, just check the area. Maybe a good, what, that's a dog, a dental chew. What do they do for cats?
Yeah, cats
Nothing.
are finicky. They don't really like your fingers in their mouth, and
Yeah, I don't
they
blame them.
have little dental treats, but then they have toothbrushes. But
Yeah.
same
Okay.
with the vet.
Well, the enzymes are not breaking down the food, and I think it could be age.
Hmm.
Okay, but there's something going on in here that when the food and all that go down in here, it's like,
Yeah,
so again, they're both connected. I
yeah.
said, well, go
He
ahead.
looks like he's lost weight,
Yeah, so there's
just
something
subtle.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to just say, look at what you can put into its diet to help to balance the potential hydrogen in there, or not just the stomach, the intestines. So, like, I don't know what they use
Right.
for cats, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, we had it
Yeah.
for adults, we fix that area, give it a good floral stuff and
Yeah.
good healthy food, because that's the energy I feel off.
Okay.
And I said, is there anything that she can do that can help him? Yes. Stop worrying. All right. What? You worry? Oh, come on. And I'll be like, what are you talking about? And so what that is. I'll say, if you were to place one hand on your forehead and one hand, I don't know if he'll allow you to put your hand, but if you had head to head and allow like the cat to be whatever, you are going to become the cat. So you're going to proxy and say you're going to become the cat. And then your hands on his head and your hand, you listen to see if anything comes up from the cat. And if it does, just keep your hand there, because it is, it needs something crossed out, because I see some pictures, I see some memories. But if you help with the cat and you be processing through the cat, you could change and help the cat in that way. Now, remember, when you're done, you break connection, peanut butter, and then, do the tribal things to get yourself right. Now, the one thing that keep hearing diminishing. You have a fear of losing an old, it's an old fear, diminishing. So it's like, I don't want to lose a cat. I don't want to lose something I love. I don't want to go through that
Yeah, I
process.
just stated to my husband, he's my oldest animal.
Okay, so that we understand this come up. I think that's part of the
And it
aspect
was
too.
it's just those little thoughts. Wait,
Right,
he
right,
looks a
right,
little different. So I'm just noticing, wait,
right,
do I need to pay more attention to his health? What's going on?
right,
So this literally just happened in the last day. So
right. So
that's
that
why.
thoughts is causing the separation between you and him, which
Mhm.
then causes it to feel sometimes it's not fully connecting. And this is the heart thing. So you make sure you do L1D on yourself, okay?
Okay.
Because an old aspect or part of that, I don't know if it's hooked to this one, but it is coming up, and you're like, I have to be forewarned and I have to go into all this. So the energy is causing a little bit of a disruption even when you're with the cat, okay?
Okay.
So you got this. You got this. Go
Okay.
heal it out.
Thank
Go what
you
you got
very
to
much.
do. Yep, you're welcome. Make sure you rub around his little paws, kind
Okay.
of do a little SP on him, both front and back, and just kind of open that up. And I asked if there's any tracing that needs to be done for the cat. And it says, no, she'll figure out, she'll be guided. And I'm like, okay, gotcha. So thank you very much for letting me help you with
Thank
that.
you. Thank you for your time.
Oh, all right. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, hon?
Okay.
Oh, if not, that's no big deal. But anyways, try both tomorrow.
Yeah, I plan on it. So.
Awesome. That'd be great. Okay, hon. Love you.
All
We'll talk
right.
to you later. All right, bye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you all for waiting. I appreciate that. I hope people have learned you can also work with your animals at the same time. And now we're going to move on to Davin, you still here? I just want to make sure. Autumn, are you here? Hi, Amber. She's probably already gone. Not sure. Hi, Teresa. How are you? I'd like to see Autumn. Where are you? Okay, I got to get on the bigger screen. Okay, Davin, hang in there. We're going to get along with this in just a moment. It must be a windy day out. I can hear a lot going on outside. A lot going on outside. All right, I got to get the bigger screen. So, Autumn, are you here? Yes, she's here. Okay, so you first, or Allison, or is that because you said you sent 10, so that means it's in in that range. So is this all for Allison, or is this for you too? I just need to get that language correct, and then we'll go from there. Okay. It's whatever spirit wants. So one for each. Gotcha. Okay, so if I just read a little bit further, just scanning, we'll be fine. So let's do Allison first from what I can feel. Okay. And we're looking at issues with people in the environment and not sure about the doing when somebody is trying to control the situation. Okay. And so the younger part's going to always have this connection that in order to know myself, I need people to control me or dictate me. Okay. So if you're like, I don't want that anymore, and you don't know how to get out of it, you're going to have to notice the amount of energy that's invested in how much you don't like that behavior. Okay. So again, you have to have it because this is part of how your story is and how you know how to show up. But we want you to now begin to measure. Now, how they're going to end up is they are identifying themselves a little bit further, and that is to feel small. Okay. To feel small. So you have to identify, what does it mean to feel small? And when you're like, you're fine, and then that person walks in the room and you feel small. Okay. You're going to measure that. And then so you're going to write down left wrist. So you have an L. Okay. And then you're going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to put your finger nice and deep, L3D. Okay. And this is about how do you know you are meant to, as soon as your dad, mom, brother, whoever works, whoever is the one that's putting this energy in there. So whatever signature, shows up as this energy of like being ahead in control in this, is that you have got to measure of this is how I have to act and be when I'm in that space. So feeling small, you're supposed to feel small. So go ahead and you'd L3D that. Now, measure it, and I'm sure Autumn will tell you the rest. Now, there is a part of that I'm supposed to go. So once you start to look at that, then it's overwhelm. There's a stage. These are stages. So I have to feel overwhelmed to get into feeling small. And I said, okay, so if you have to go into the overwhelm to feel small, then you're going to measure that as well. So you have to understand, is it the environment that is overwhelming before you go into feeling small? If you can feel the overwhelm, and you're going to notice you're hearing, you're using your eyes to hear. Okay, you're going to measure this side versus this side because you have to be in hyper alert. And then you're going to take your right wrist and then you're going to go down to the third position on this side, R3D, push in deep. Okay. And you're going to measure it and then breathe in and out. Notice if you're holding your breath, but notice it from that perspective. Okay. Now, as you start to break these down, you're going to be tested again. Hold the points, rewatch this as often as you need to, pause it, sit there, but get it in your head. Don't just do it one time and say, this isn't working. Get it in your head. Oh my God, that's how I know it. Now you're going to make friends with your higher self going, oh my God, I'm losing power to it. If it is feeling like you have to be small, you may have taken lots of pictures about how you're supposed to be small, and then hypervigilant, you have to keep looking, then it'd be R3D. So that's what I would say for Allison. Okay. And listen to the command words. And they're not even command, they're a demand words. So if you feel that pressure, that demanding, that notice the intensity, the direction, the vector, and an overall thing. Let's say you just freshly, it happened, then I would grab my left wrist. Why they take these off, I have no idea. And I would hold, you're in the feels, don't do conclusions. Left wrist, second position, two fingernails, and you're going to put your thumb there, finger here, safe, scared, skibidi, and do this. Measure, hold, breathe, feel. You don't really have to pay attention to you write it down, but just get into the feel, and then the thoughts will eventually change, and the number will come down. Okay, so now we're going to go to Autumn. Autumn says whatever spirit wants. Okay. Something's trying to tickle you, and I'm like, okay, take that with a grain of salt. I don't know, but it's connected to. And I said, what is it connected to? The playful moments are connected to something that has to do with made to feel like crap. So you have joy equals crap. So that means in order to get my joy, I have to go through a certain amount of crap. And the people that you are hanging with, hooking up to, they're never going to change who they are. But in order for you to get your needs met of connection, comfort, validation, acceptance with certain people, you know that you have to tread through a whole bunch of crap. Does that make sense? Is that connecting with you? So in order to do this, you know that you have to go, what are they telling me? So, you know that they're irrational, but the way it comes across is they're rational. And you have to go through all measure that. And I said, is this where you want her to focus and you want her to measure? Yeah, because she has to to show up the way they want is to lack power and they shut up. I have to lack power and they shut up. That stage, before you have to realize you're fawning and all this other stuff, it's not about people pleasing. It is about that's the survival. But they want you to look at that stage, that there's a stage in there. And so then they said, once you start to do that, then you can hold left wrist second position, deep, L2D. Okay. Then I said, what else? And they said, okay, now there is a part of you that's going, I have a phobia. And I go, phobia? Now, a phobia is that, you're to the extreme that it is all this restrictions and impending doom and you can't pass it and you can't go because it is super, 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 super sensory real. And there's a phobia that if you don't if they don't show you a certain amount of contempt, then they don't love you. You've associated love with contempt and love. What's wrong? They haven't shown contempt today. What's wrong? Or I haven't pushed a button to get this contempt today. What's wrong? But the phobia lies into who would I be without this? And so the fear, the phobia, the fear has a lot to do with the internal dialogue, which is your lower left, the talking, the giving instructions of how to do things. And so if you can begin to notice, and so as you are holding right wrist second position deep, I want you to drop your eyes to the lower left and see if there's an internal dialogue with that stage, that how, and because I said, so the voice is it talk to you in a certain way that you're not sure of? It talks very lofty. And I said, is this your family or anybody that's there and talks to you lofty? I don't know which camera you're in. I have to be really stern. Your presence of how you know people, including your friends, all have to show up to you as very terse. It's like you don't want it, but it's coming at you anyway. And you wouldn't recognize how to grow. And I said, what are you saying? Well, I'm stuck at being about 7 years old. So it's the way I stare, it's the way I look. And I'm like, serious? And they said, yes. So you want to, your ego's intuitive self needs to get out of the way so your intuitive self can say, yes. Now the fear is, I asked if it was movement, if it was like texture. I asked it if it was intense, tone, if speed. Nope, it's the bite. It's the bite. So it's when it's already attacked. So you are stuck in the already attack. So let's say you're scared of spiders, but it's, that it's going to hurt you. Well, you're stuck into it already attacked. And I said, well, how do you want her to help her to change that? And they said, she's connected with, she needs to remove the fear of the attack, the attack that she knows that it's already happened. She needs to remove it because it's the moment they're really nice and they begin to manipulate. It's the moment that, and you're like, you're remembering the attack. And so they want you to go right wrist, third position, nice and deep. Okay, it's a very specific perspective on your issue. Hopefully that makes sense. I got to get the right screen. And Morgan, you are next. I just got to get the question. All right, so she went, huh? So before I can go on to Morgan, oh, I did not. Do you know what I'm talking about now of everything, the 2 different points? Hopefully you can rewatch this. But the lag is so bad. I just got to make sure that. Oh, she's, I can see that. Okay, good. Yeah, that's all I needed. Okay. Good job, Autumn. Good job. So now, Morgan, I'm going to go and get your question off. If anybody wants the reading, it's $5, $15, or $25. But if you're new and I've never given you one before, you get a free reading. Let's see what you, oh, wrong. There it is. Okay. So connecting with people, how would you do it? The energy of relationships, socializing. So when you are in a particular pattern, people come up with different assumptions regardless of how you come across. And then if you're going and you're looking, your inner world is showing you this outer world situation, and you begin to see how people's energies maybe are more dominant or more threatening or any of this. And if you take that last line you wrote, because I'm just respecting what they're saying here, take that last 2 words or 3 words that you wrote. It is, I am aware that I am. Okay, so if we look at the measurement, do you feel safe? No. You should feel 100% safe, but you don't. It's about 60. You feel safety, security. Do you feel security? No. That's even lower. Do you feel stability? That's a little higher. Do you feel serene? No. Do you feel insanity? Or sane? Sane. I feel sane. No. So these energies are getting very confusing. So what I would say is take that last line to which you have said, and I want you to notice there is always some type of pressure, a duress, an energy field that you're saying, this happens to me. Now, notice again that it's not balanced, it's not in sync, it's not in harmony, but it is a pressure. It happens. I know this. And take that last line to which you said, because you are stuck in a very particular point when you were younger. So it's not something that you can just remember, but you can feel the energy off the person. So if I'm saying, Davin, and you can feel my energy of my body. Now that tells me that you're more of a kinesthetic than you are a visual. I feel like you're more auditory, which means you think it through. And because of that, then I'm going to have you, let's see, what do I want? I want you to feel the heaviness. I want you to focus on the heaviness. Take that last line, the heaviness that says, I am supposed to respond the way I am responding right now. If I measure that heaviness, and I'm measuring that pressure, and I'm measuring how this is, it's a feeling. So when you are beginning to heal, which you're going to go right wrist, second position, nice and soft. So it's R2S, nice and soft. And as you begin to heal, I want you to begin to feel you're happy, everything's great, and you start to feel how things switched. Okay? Go inside and start feeling the heaviness. Because these are not emotional words. These are, in the digital sense, a sensing, a knowing. And in this case, it is a pressure. It's a heaviness. And if you're in there going, because you've seen this before, and as you're holding, measure it. And then when you feel like you've looked at it and you feel it, remove, transcend, let go, and then move out. Then go back in. And then remove, transcend, let go, and go out. So you're holding the whole time. Now, because you are also not just kinesthetic, but auditory digital, you will then, as you're measuring that, how I know this story keeps playing out, you want it to get to 0. You are also going to do your eyes as you're holding the point. I told you wanted to have any other point. No. So it's R2S. You're going to drop just remember, you're looking through your face. You're going to drop to the right, and you're going to feel. Then you're going to remove, transcend, let go. Then you're going to take all of your eyes and switch from here to here while you're holding. And then you're going to hear the self-talk. Is it negative? Is it positive? Is it good? Is it bad? And then you're going to measure it. 10's the worst. Remove, transcend, let go. Again, you're holding here, so you can see my lips. Is that I'm going to then take my eyes and remove, transcend, and let my eyes drop over here. So you're doing the corners. And you're going to do this back and forth. We want to change the snapshots that's on your nervous system. Okay. Oh, shoot. I got to get to the right page so I can see. Oh, I feel I'm normally. Okay. Well, do you need to identify yourself as that? Because to change the inner world so that you can stop seeing this and you feel that maybe you do, then you have to become aware of your flippant talk, what words come out. Because if it is talking like into shame and guilt or complaining or post to point something out, it's going to drop. Now, if it drops from 500 down to 200 and less, which is in the negative state, you can do something about it. Why do I need to have these words? Why do I need to do this behavior? I'm clearly seeing that it's coming back in the way I see it. So I don't know. So you have to become more your higher self and say, is that who I really want to be? Because it doesn't help your body. It makes you, it can hurt your body, if anything. Do you understand? So in this case, you're so used to growing up of hearing negativity that that's your norm. Now you have to grow up with inside yourself and become a higher self and going, do I really need this talk? Now, if you start catching that you're talking negative, or you see that how people are responding to you, then you go left wrist, second position, nice and deep, and catch those snapshots. Again, watch your eyes, watch the environment. Switch sides, measure. Do you really want to be that? And if you're like, no, I don't, then you can help yourself by catching and healing out when you are. And right now, they say that's because you grew up where you're supposed to have this kind of conversation. This is the way you're supposed to talk. And you know that that's not true because the people that are coming into your space, they may be familiar and it may feel like home, but I know you, Devin, that wants to move into and be by yourself and, live on your own and do all that other stuff. But you have to first decide if that's what you want to bring in. And if you don't, then you can show up to yourself and let's say you're having a conversation, me and you're having a conversation, and you begin to display a particular behavior or tone or this is who I am and this is what it is. But if you are doing a program and you're aware of it and you're like, but I don't want to do it, that's when you can say, I have now got something to measure. I do it. I see myself do it. I can see how I enjoy it, or I can see how it's not that you're changing yourself for people, but you want to get your hertz, Hertz, the energy and the frequency to be higher. Okay. AI says I'm doing tarot readings. No, I'm not. But I am explaining how to identify unhealthy self-talk. Yes. That's life, not tarot cards. Get it right. Correct yourself, AI. Does that make sense, Devin? That you're at a stage where you can be in charge of how do I want to show up? Who do I want to be? Does that make sense? Yes. Now, if you don't want this, you just start observing. And if you're not sure how to observe, the best way to learn how to become an observer is to record yourself, whether it's through audio or video, because then you get to witness, not to complain or be mad or degrade yourself, but to go, oh, I see what I'm doing. I used to take videos and I would rehearse having a talk. And I'd see that I used so and these fillers words needed to become a pause, a breath, so that my communication skills would be more smoother. Instead of people focusing on that, they would be able to hear what I'm actually saying. Okay. So you can rewatch this again on YouTube over and over. That'd be great. And leave a comment. That'd help. I've explained I get bored easily, and I feel that also makes me negative because I don't know what to do. Now, you just told me how brilliant you are. I get bored easy. You can measure that. Yeah, I identify as bored. Well, your soul's asking, can you resolve it? Take your right wrist, third position, 3 fingers down, and you're going to hold it soft, R3S, and you're going to just look at that autopilot, that memorized auto response of bored. But I think bored was a transitioning. Like, let's say something's done, but you don't know how to transition. Okay? So bored. Or I'm supposed to get people to entertain me, or the outside's supposed to entertain me. But what if you're supposed to learn how to be more happy and stuff like that? So focus on the bored, give it a high measure, and heal it out. Okay? Amy, in a moment or two, if you want to come on, I will give you a link, but I got to know if you're present. Okay, good on you. See, Davin, you did good. You heard what your aspect needed, and now we can use it. We can use it. We can help. Let me go get the link there. And let's go get our next person. And where is my screen? There it is. Wrong screen. How you guys doing? Are you enjoying the show so far? Have you learned anything different on another perspective? Because if we can see these different perspectives, chunk them down, and measure out how we're losing power in one avenue versus another, you know. There we go. No, I sneeze. It's so funny because this AI says a guided mindfulness session in one self-talk and identifying negative thoughts. That's way better. That's way better AI. It's way better. Okay. There we go. And in a moment or two, her screen should pop up and she should be there. Oh, I will tell you that I'm not going to be doing my show for a while. Am I doing my show next week? Have I decided that?
No.
No, I'm not.
No, we will. No.
But we decided that we are not. I need a break because I have to catch up on so many things. And so I'm still going to do tribal, but without the show, I'm just not doing the show for a month. Maybe I'll come back at the end of June or the 1st of July or somewhere in there, just so you guys know I need a break. And I got a lot of things I need to do. So just, if you still feel like you miss me, go join tribal because I'm still going to do that every week. Best I can, hopefully. Yes. Okay. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
All right. How's your aspect been treating you? People that have been following along may want to know you did aspect healing. Does this stuff work? What's going on? Why haven't you integrated yet? Shouldn't there be one and done? Blah, blah, blah.
It's not one and done because there are many different aspects in the aspect that needs to be integrated.
Right. So you got different levels and stages, perspectives of your littles and your shadows that have all come together in past life, this life, whatever, collective and all. And they will show up as that one
unexpectedly.
Yeah. And they'll show up as one aspect, but you'll get to hear the different tone. You get to hear the depth. This is your sensory aspects that are going to, and they'll show up unexpectedly, and you're like, what? But she's doing her best to see them, heal them, and integrate them, and show up as her higher self, so that they know that she's got the information that will help them. Because most of the time is that when you're little, you don't have the cognitive ability, meaning I'm not born to do this. I have to wait until I age to do this. And we will take only bits of information and we delete, distort, and just generalize the rest.
Yep.
Again, not enough cognitive ability at the time. Not that anything's wrong. It's just that you need to grow. So you're missing information, or you didn't get too exposed to other information, or if you're so used to being in survival mode or existing mode, you just I don't have time to look at any of the other stuff. So this is all about social skills. This is about so much more here. But why do you think you would need my help today?
I woke up at like, I don't know, 5:30 this morning and couldn't go back to sleep. And I was listening to the thoughts and I'm like, those aren't AY's thoughts.
Okay, AY is her higher self. And when you are observing, her observer self is AY and says, oh, I'm not just going to get lost in these thoughts. I'm observing these thoughts. Those aren't my thoughts.
And so I'm like, I held a 1D and the thoughts calmed down, and I don't remember the thoughts, but it was like, oh, okay. And then just before I woke up to get ready for the day, I had this dream of we had to find a discount store instead of using like Amazon or big box stores. We had to find something that is more personalized.
Okay. So we're looking for, interesting. Give me 1 second. I'm supposed to be very specific, and which is what you're doing. And being that very specific, we need to know. Give me 1 second. So store is that you need something. So you have a need and you don't want to pay the expensive price because the value on certain things no, okay. It's not good. So discount was that we want not just a good price. Maybe we can't afford the good stuff. But you also need to find it not at the big box stores, but something. So are you talking about, like, let's say at Christmas time, you want to buy from people that are closer to home type thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to support yourself or support others as you go get your needs met, from my understanding. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of store did you feel it was?
I never got there. It was just, I needed to find something that was more personalized, something like a mom and pop type store.
So personalized. So somebody created something that was more personal for you, that meant something, that had meaning, that you put, was a thought for you or for somebody else, the particular type of gift or.
I'm not even sure. It was just, we had to find something different, and then my alarm went off, so I never got to explore in the dream. Never got to the store, never, didn't.
So there's this inner need that you want to personally, that this is personal. That you want to put some thought into it. You want to be able to do this. So this aspect, from what I'm feeling, is that you feel like you have to go outside yourself to find this particular thing so that you don't have, and I says, this more of a self-imposed, or you want to get beyond your self-imposed? So you want to get past your self-imposed limitations. And that you don't need to go to the collective, which would be the big box stores or the online stores. You want to go to where it's not about the collective, but I need something that is more personal in my space, or it's coming from outside from someone else. I said, tell me more. And they said, I'm looking at my habits and I want to be able to see my habits. But in order for me to see my habits, I need to see other people's habits. And so I want to be more personable and more informative so I can say, I don't want to do these habits anymore. And I asked a little bit more and they says, yeah, why would I need to hide behind this mask? Where did I buy this mask? Where did I get this mask? And then, but yet you want to find this personalized thing so you can feel the familiarity. And then you know
That
that
makes
you've
sense.
accomplished something. So now let's go a little deeper. And they said that the cues of your behavior, your habits, are based on subtle. And I said, okay. And they said, she needs to understand that her energetic channel, so we have auditory and we have visual and we have kinesthetic, but yours is an energetic channel that your RTJP, that part of your brain that thinks what other people think, is that you have to predict even before you communicate with them, but you have to do it so fast so you can survive. So I said, so your part of your brain is trying to say, yes, 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 I need to know whether or not is it okay to have an importance of myself. So if I expand my importance of myself and say, no, I don't want to do this. Yes, I want to do this. So if they want me to do this and I say no, then they're going to act this way. And but if that is to say I don't want to do this because I'm in my emotions, my fears, my comfort zone, okay, so you have to go to that comfortable place where personalized stuff is. But at the same time, I have to keep believing this relationship social thing is a lie. So it's like you have to wake up to this. You have to wake up to this. How do I go after my goals, my purpose, my thing? Because the people I see that controlled and dictate me is that even though they're gone, I can't help but to see that they're still controlling and dictating me through other people because I miss them. So I'm trying to fulfill this emptiness. So we need, first of all, heal that emptiness. I would say L1S for that one, okay? You have to give up on your dreams. That's the association. So L1S is giving up my expectations. But that's how you did for survival. So there's a part of you that says, I don't know how to stop them from coming into my territory, even though people know better than me, or want better for me, or this and other. So you're used to being controlled and gaslit. So the atmosphere is the energetic channel for your atmosphere. So now the question then is, you're working not with just visual, auditory, kinesthetic, but this atmosphere. So think of like your aura. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to use your ears that you have behind your head.
Okay.
And I want you to. Did you ever hear like, how does my mother know she's got eyes behind on the back of her head, type thing?
Yep.
Well, for you, it's like, I gotta. Okay, so let's put it this way. The pressure and the heaviness of the negativity was so bad that you wanted to tune it out. So is that a lot to do with why you can't hear anymore? Yes. But you had to be super alert because you can't physically hear, that the ears in the back of your head are, I still got to protect myself. So your language of when you were using your sensory system to know you were safe was about 4 months old. Were you in somebody's arm? No. Okay. You were hearing. What were you hearing with the ears here that made him go back here? You were hearing distrust, dark night of the soul, very negative things. And it was energy. Energy is what children do first, before they know words, gestures, and tones. It's energy. So if somebody came in smiling, but they're just obliviated, does that make sense?
Yep.
You would feel timid. You would feel awkward. So you got timid and awkward that's stuck in the front channel. Okay, it's like my I'm zipped up, but this has to govern me. Okay, this awkward and timid has to govern me and tell me. So it's a perspective that you're looking through. Okay.
Mm.
And I have to fulfill that quota identity. I have to remember that this is my identity. This is who I have to be. This is what I am. So you're doing this. Switch over to L2D for me, be in L2D, because now you have to insert this particular lie, because the lie is how, I want to say how dangerous the field feels. But you hear love is a weapon. Manipulation, control, put you in your situation. I'll give you this candy bar and then they abuse you. But it's the energy that has been abusing you that you can't get out of your space. So when you walk in my space and all of a sudden I'm like, what's going on?
So
Timid.
what I'm seeing, is it's like I grew up in the house that I live in Minnesota, and the room that I sleep in there was my parents' room, but I was in their room at the time when I was 4 months old.
Okay.
And what I'm seeing is me laying in my crib, and I'm not sure if it was my mom or my dad's energy, like trying to come over to me. Does that make sense?
That's fine. That's fine. How your child part you interpret it, you got to remember, you were set up for the first 9 months in somebody else's womb. You had the time before you met them right there. Okay. So if, let's say, mom and dad were going to get cozy, you may have felt the energy and again, you can watch people flirt and you can feel it. Okay. But it may not necessarily be towards you.
Right.
Like when I say when you make your cook, you put love in it and you can taste it, right? But at the same time, when you say this energy comes towards you, is this a threat? Is this a fear? Is this a that it's going to turn bad?
She's looking at it going, what is this? It's like it's something that was foreign to her.
Okay.
Kind of sharp.
I want you to notice that if the aura of the child is not protecting it, then it'll feel like invading energy. You've gone to a room, somebody's mad, and you don't know it prior, but you go into the room, you're like, and you can feel it.
Yeah.
But you didn't stop it. You felt it. It was like absorbing. And you would be like, what's this? And the energy was, did you feel like it had to take action, that the energy was telling you that you had to take action, or the energy was saying that you need to be submissive and let me hurt you? Or what was this energy?
All I can see is like it was sharp. It's like she wants to roll away from it.
Okay.
But she's like paralyzed and can't move.
So let's say you weren't laying still in bed. Lay still! Stop uncovering the blankets. Could be that simple, but it is energy of stop, they don't even have to say anything. It's energy.
Uh-huh.
But you wouldn't have had enough information.
No.
So then we try to fill in the blank by using the construction or the imagination. And what I want you to understand is as you're sitting there holding this, that it's the subtle cues that you better behave, Missy.
Mm-hmm.
Feel how sharp that is. That's what I want you to measure.
It's a good 10.
And notice that this is the habit of how to protect yourself, is that I have to see this. I have to see this. I have to forewarn myself. I have to.
Oh my God, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, so now let it go like taking a crap. Just let it go. Now this is energy. So the atmosphere, I want you to feel the atmosphere. And tell me how you're describing your atmosphere, positive or negative.
Now it's like it's positive now.
Okay, good. Now you can take your hand down and tell me if there's anything else.
I don't think so.
So now I want you
It
to just sit with me, breathe in and out, and I want, as we're talking or whatever, go through the scenarios of yesterday, the day before, the day before, the day before. Notice how the body wants to register to read the atmosphere.
I can see like how yesterday, how the conversations that we've had the last few days in the kitchen, how my ears perked in the back of my head perked up and I had to protect myself. And now it's like, why do I have to do that?
Okay, good. So you're starting to become aware that AY is like going, not necessarily have to keep accepting, and giving my power my willpower to that. So does your little know that you're more safe than you were before?
I just heard, I am.
Good. That's a good sign. That's a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, why is it important that we witness this? I'm not trying to force you. You are aware that this is but this is a conclusion you want. Well, how do you know you're not telling me what I want to hear?
Because if I were telling you what you wanted to hear, it would be false. I wouldn't feel different on the inside. I can hear the tone of my voice is different than before I started healing.
Good.
I feel more centered in myself than I did before.
Excellent.
And
you feel
the reason that we witness is so that we can put in the good, because we've just taken out something that wasn't necessarily the best.
Very good. Building a new file system. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that you can be more honest with yourself. So does AY and the aspect feel like they're more integrated, or feel, instead of being opposed and at odds?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
what I would always see is the aspect, and then you would always be hidden. Your higher self does not have to be hidden.
No, I feel more centered in self with both the aspect and AY.
Okay. Right. Yeah. So anybody have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask us. Because
yes,
she agreed a long time ago that we'd work together on different levels to see and hear and to know and to witness. So if I can do it, and if somebody else can do it, then we can start teaching it to other people. Okay, and that's what we're doing, is we're checking it out. Okay. Thank you for coming
You're
on to
welcome.
help
Thank
me.
you.
And again, it's good to see you, and we'll see you tomorrow in Tribal. And if you still have questions or
Absolutely.
whatever, you can ask them. Okay, I'm gonna let you go. We'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.
Okay. Bye.
Remember to subscribe, but it's not just about the subscription. You can give back. If you like this program and you'd like to see more of this program, get the word out, or go in and just hang in there and have retention. Turn it on. If you don't want to hear me, just turn it down, mute it, whatever. But then make a comment, like it, share, subscribe. But educate yourself, put in new information, allow yourself to see things that you may have not learned to see before, if that makes sense. There's a lot we can do. There's a lot we can do. What else do we have? Okay. How you doing, Teresa? Teresa, are you still here? I'm just curious. So is anybody else here, like Vicky or any of those? Okay. Because I see some people are watching. Give it a thumbs up if you can. That would be great. Thank you so much for being so devoted to yourself and finding value in this program. Like I said, I won't be here I'm giving myself time. I'm giving myself some time. And I appreciate it, but I will be back. I will be back. And if you feel like you need to miss me, just put on one of my old videos on YouTube and bring me into your room. If you don't like your environment, turn on Medicine Woman Solution and let me communicate with you. You don't have to feel alone. And you can learn a lot in different perspectives as you are growing. So thank you so much for letting me come into your space today. And if you're in Tribal and if you want to join Tribal, it's $42 a month. That's not a lot of money when you break it down for each week of what I give you and how to help you grow. And if you're not sure, just go to Medicine Woman Solution, look at some Tribal information or mwstribal.weebly.com and read some more stuff. But it's this moment where you are doing personal things, but at the same time you're also doing collective things, but you're learning like you would a different perspective, a different avenue. But it is more of an intimate setting because we use Zoom to work with one another, and you don't have to have your camera on. You don't even have to participate. You can be in there. You can watch them later. That's what some people do, and then. But there's a lot you can do. A lot. Okay. All right. I'm going to call this program done. And remember to resolve to evolve, heal instead of deal. Learn to be your higher self. And when you do, you'll learn to not waste it, taste it. You'll learn how to, when in doubt, heal it out. You will begin to become more in charge instead of the environment telling you how to be. When you begin and start and end anything, it is thank you, Spirit. So you're already blessed and already whole. So stay blessed and happy healing.